Okay.
Charming noise.
Well, that worked out well. Keeping all this in too, buddy, let me tell you.
All right. Thank you again for joining us. This is the Turkish Diplomats Presents Charming Noise. I am your co-host, Thomas Crofel. Joining me today is Calvin Roach.
Hello.
And as always, Paul Hogue.
Hello.
We
That
let
wasn't
Paul
creepy
join
at all.
because he's got the recorder.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the guy that brought the football to the game. So
Yeah.
they have to keep me in.
Today's offering, because it was a sacrifice to watch,
Oh my God.
is called what is it? Mark of the Astro Zombies. And we went into this blind thinking it would be really good. And we found out there's an Astro Zombie world out there.
And I thought it was going to be an old movie, which Calvin can kind of tell us about, or y'all can tell it, because I didn't know. And the other thing was, I did not see one guy in this movie named Mark. And that really kind of pisses me off.
Well, my first impression of this movie occurred about 11 minutes in. And I said out loud, "Good God, who picked this movie?"
Guilty.
Here's the thing. It is in our wheelhouse for damn sure.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, this is torture dungeon level bad.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll agree.
So, but yeah, I don't know where to begin with this. I mean, like Paul pointed
know.
out. Huh?
I know.
Go ahead.
Now, I don't know if you guys experienced the same thing I did, but when I watched it, I could not hear anything from them. And
that was, of all the things to note, that was my number one thing that I noted was I might have had more to criticize if I could have heard it. I mean, I know we're old, and we don't hear as well, but this is the worst sound of any of the movies we've covered so far.
I heard all the human dialogue pretty well. It was the electronic voices of the monsters.
Yeah.
That I was just blank on.
I gave up on the lizard guys. I mean, yeah.
And because I wanted to understand this movie even better, I actually looked for closed captioning for this thing.
I did too.
I did too. I was like, well, I'm just gonna have to, I'm just gonna have to do it, and it just would not. There's nothing there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to infer what the monster.
I think it's a gift to deaf people. I'm gonna be honest with you. So I think they said, let's give them this at least.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, like Paul pointed out, the movie, the poster made it look like an old movie from the 50s. But I kind of got to looking at this guy's list of movies, and nearly all of his movies, at least his quote unquote horror movies, have that 1950s, 1960s grindhouse kind of poster.
Yeah.
Because this movie came out in 2002, and he kept that style of poster. But and it was like, and like it says on the page, it's a reimagining of his movie Astro Zombie from 1968, which in that case, those were just men made into zombies.
I gotta say, I really want to see that movie.
Astro Zombies?
Yeah.
The original cut, yeah.
Did you see who the co-writer is?
I did, but I can't recall who.
Wayne Rogers.
Yeah.
Trapper John from MASH co-wrote the movie. And of course, John Carradine is in it. So it's definitely in our wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those who don't know, the director of this is Ted V. Michaels.
Yeah.
Okay. And apparently in '68, he and Wayne Rogers wrote this, and then Michaels couldn't let it go, so he created 4 more after it. And still hasn't gotten it right.
Yeah.
I mean, he did bring over one of the stars from the 1968 version into the version we're watching, and it was the woman playing the evil, what was her name?
Malvira
Satana. Her real name is Tura Satana.
Yeah.
And she was in Faster Pussycat Kill Kill.
That's right. She's in several of the classic bad movies.
Yeah.
For sure.
Her bio, go to Wikipedia, everybody, and look up her bio, Tura Satana, because she's pretty amazing if you can believe the bio on Wikipedia.
Okay. So this movie, like I texted you guys, I was 11 seconds into it, and I absolutely loved the effects. I knew right away that we had a loser.
I had a note that they spared no expense in clearing out everything they could from Party City.
Well, yeah, and they must have used at least 3 weeks worth of newspapers making those paper mache lizard masks.
And I want to check with you guys, was that a Skeletor costume that one guy was wearing?
No, it wasn't.
I thought it was. It looked sususpecioly like one, I think.
It did kind of look like that.
Lizard guy?
Well, the main guy with the silver eye patch thing.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a Skeletor mock-up. I've never seen a Skeletor look like that. So I'm kind of a Skeletor fan. So
you are. That I knew you were, and that's why I was asking.
So the for whatever reason in this film, we haven't seen the others, so we cannot yet make judgment. But for whatever reason in this film, it starts out where like a documentary, I guess, because they're like saying there's billions of life forms out there, and some of them live on asteroids, and some of them are highly developed, and then some of them are dumb as rocks or are rocks, and some of them covet Earth. And that's when these guys show up, and you can't understand a thing that they say, because they did not believe in microphones with this production.
Apparently not. No.
Or ADR.
Yeah.
And the fact that he kept calling the alien
or a discernible plot. Anyway,
and the fact that the intro narration kept using the word asteroid, some bigger than Earth. Well, I guess just to make it sound science fiction-y, because those are actual planets, not asteroids. But hey, who am I to nitpick science?
So let me ask this, because I honestly could not get it from all the what dialogue I could hear. Were they killing all those people so they could turn them into zombies?
I don't think so. They were just random killings throughout the city to strike terror or something.
They were going to take over the Earth. And apparently what we were seeing was just one example of everything that was going on in Paris and Berlin and Grubbs, Arkansas, and you name it.
They hit Grubbs first, man. That's like the keystone. If you don't get Grubbs, Arkansas,
all 11 people kill them.
Yeah.
So,
because as they say, as go Grubbs, so goes Texarkana. Yeah.
how do you explain this? The lizard people somehow or other got robots out of human people, and they were pumping their blood out, which looked very red and very thin. I mean, you could see through it, into a jar, and they're embalming them with their robot fluid, and they've got this mask on them, which is supposed to be like a robot head. And then, and this is the part that really I hung up on this for so long. They're handing them machetes to go kill Earth's population.
Yeah.
And they've got a grind wheel that they have duct taped to the table.
They can fly across the universe. But they have not mastered anything beyond machetes.
Yeah. And machetes.
That metal grinder, like you said, I just like, what the hell?
Now they can kill a human being with one blow.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You're either getting it in the neck or the forehead, and either way, that's it. It's over.
Mm-hmm. And there are some times when right before you die, there's the gratuitous breast scene.
Yeah, because somehow that machete will just perfectly catch the front of the bra and just and a couple of buttons on the shirt, and it just flies open.
So, I mean, so we know that they have not wiped out all of humanity from these robot heads.
I mean, 7 minutes in, there's somebody taking a shower. You know,
yeah.
You see her from behind. She's naked. Yeah. You see her from behind only. And when she gets killed and falls down, there's a washcloth laying over her breast, so you can't see anything.
And she's got her legs crossed.
Yeah.
Just so, or you could say clean to Memphis.
And they kept looping the same scream whenever they would kill a man.
Yeah.
It was the same voice. They were just looping the same scream. It wasn't the Wilhelm. I wish that God it had been the Wilhelm scream, but it wasn't.
It is one I have heard before, though.
Yeah,
in a bunch of movies and shit.
In fact, one of the things I read about Ted V. Michaels was he actually recorded a bunch of sound effects once for like a TV station or radio station he worked for. He made a sound effects album.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Ooh, I would love to. I'd love to get. I've had a couple of the old '60s sound effects albums.
Yeah, I may have some back here on my shelf. I can't recall.
Oh man.
Yeah. But I mean, radio stations that turned a blind eye to my unauthorized acquisition of it.
So they just kill people with machetes all through this thing, and they're creating these zombie robots, right? With the recently dead. They talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
and that's pretty much all I could make out of this whole movie.
And when they wake up the zombie killers, the Astro Zombie, when they activate it, the guy with the silver eye patch face shines a heat lamp on them. If you notice, that was a heating lamp, a red heat lamp.
I was one, yeah. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Just like the one I have in my wood shop to dry.
I mean, it's like the one you see in gas stations that keep the tater babies, warm.
So did you notice who Ted V. Michaels played in the movie?
Oh my gosh, I didn't. Who?
So he was only in, I think, one scene. He was the guy with the fake Russian accent, Dr. Makasevich, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he was talking to I can't remember if he was talking to Tura or if he was talking to the lady who just wore the headband.
Yeah.
Who was really the most fascinating person to me in this movie. Yes. Because there were some stylistic choices that she made. Because, I'm watching this movie. This movie was made in 2004, I think.
2002.
2002. Did it not look like it was made like 1982?
Oh, it absolutely did.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, except for a few flip phones, you would absolutely assume, because everybody, I don't think like they got people to dress up like it was 1982. I think they just got people who still feel very 1982 in that
well,
movie.
okay, and Malvira in the first scene where they've collected all these diplomats from different countries.
Oh, my
And
favorite dude, was God, what did he say? He's like, Albania.
yeah,
And
Oh
he
yeah.
smiles and they both almost break character. No, Romania. That was
Romania.
Romania. Romania.
But if you notice that once they get into Malvira's living room and all sit down, that golden velvet couch and chair was straight out of 1977.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was honestly like that furniture set on sale today would get a lot of money for
It would.
for a mid-century modern uh sale for sure.
But
I was mentioning Dr. Or Ted Michaels in that scene because there's a point at which you've got to do something with your hair, and because that was pretty rough looking. There's a point at which you go, look, I've done what I can. It's time to start wearing a hat or do the what's that, the thing where they, like the old rock stars put the bandanas around their head.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, the pencil thin ponytail just wasn't selling that.
That was the other guy that was talking to
oh yeah, yeah.
to what's her name with the the zebra skin headband.
Yeah.
And she had some big ass rings, boy. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, they're just like pyramids, yeah. Because all psychics, dig pyramids, evidently.
Oh yeah.
And draw power from them.
What did she call what she was doing? That because she had
viewing.
Yes.
Yeah, remote viewing.
She was teaching a class in it, and all the
MK Ultra experimentation.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the U.S. Army actually did try remote viewing stuff in the like 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did when I was in.
In fact, if you watch the movie, it's a great movie with a lot of good, fantastic stars in it. The Men Who Stare at Goats. It's all about that.
I've heard that's pretty good.
It's a fantastic movie, and they call themselves Jedis, the guys who are doing this.
Oh, that's
yeah.
And Ian McGregor, who was a Jedi, is in it. So, anyway, I'm sorry, tangent.
No, that's it's kind of hard to know where to go with this movie. I mean, I have a lot of notes, but about halfway through, I kind of gave up on notes.
I didn't start taking them until 10 minutes in, when they begin gathering the president's council to combat this stuff. The office full of specialists from many different disciplines.
I like how they could not meet at the White House.
Yeah, it was like the meeting room of some schlocky business at a strip mall
that had boxes piled up in the corner, and the president walks in and
by himself.
And this is the part that I just absolutely loved. Did you notice almost everybody was holding some form of paper? They were reading the script right off of it as they were filming it.
Yes.
They did all they have that. That's true.
And I think the guy playing the president is the only person they actually sought out in this movie to look like a president, because the guy looked kind of like a young Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, he kind of did. Yeah.
And he and 2 or 3 other actors, I'm pretty sure, were like professional Sansa models. They wear those pants that you see advertised in old American Legion magazines. And handsome to a fault.
There was another guy on the president's council who was a dead ringer for Jim Baker.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
For some reason or other, he's credited it as being ASTP 73.
Yeah, I was just noticing that, and he does. He was a dead ringer for him for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
John P. But I'm not even going to try the last name. Bankid.
I'm not on that page, so I don't know.
Bankid.
Banquet.
Anyway, yeah, Banquet. I'll go with Banquet. I like that.
So, but yeah, I mean, this movie is bad in so many ways that I think combined we don't have enough words for.
There, so we'll just kind of do the plot of, or well, the movie. We'll talk
What
about
we would
it.
like to have seen as a plot.
Yeah. Quick side note there. Ted Michaels was also the producer of 1973's Blood Orgy of the She-Devils, which I know we've all seen long ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a messy movie.
It is. Yeah. So where did we leave off? The robot zombies are killing people all over the world. The president has called a meeting in a strip mall, and they are trying to figure out what they're going to do. And for some unexplained reason, I don't know how they did it, because you couldn't hear what the lizard aliens were talking about.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And that's a direct quote.
Yeah.
They were able to tap the phones of everybody in that room and somehow impregnate them with something that forms a mark on their neck. We'll get to that in a moment.
Yes.
But, hence, Mark of the Astro Zombies.
Mark of the Astro Zombies, yeah. And they every time that we come up with a plan here on planet Earth to fight them, they already know what's going to happen. So they're one step ahead of us with their machetes.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, Malvira and her minion, who is a very intense man in his 30s, they're like, I still not exactly sure what their money-making scheme was, but they were
I'm not sure what they were either.
And they were like holding people up. They were somehow like they were somehow in league with the planet that was attacking, but not.
No, they were going to capitalize on that.
Oh, okay. So they're just taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah. So they were pretending to be the zombie people, but I don't know if they were going to sell the secret to these countries or blackmail the countries into giving them money. That's what I never really put together.
What was happening, dear listener, and thank you for staying with us this long. They got all of these world leader representatives from Romania and somewhere in Africa and Italy and all this terrible actors.
Put them in a very small living room.
Yeah, they put a mask on the minion, and they go into this room where they've captured two people. They kidnap them or something, and they kill them. And then she shoots her minion, and this green stuff starts popping out of him. And they're like, pay us or else.
Yeah.
Then it goes, somehow or other, they capture an FBI agent and his news reporter girlfriend who didn't know anything about what was going on. And they're going to be the next victims of these two. How this fit into the entire story, no idea. Really.
No.
Yeah, I mean, because they had more world leaders show up, and they were going to put on the demonstration of what we can do. So pay us money or something or else.
Like these guys have never seen anyone get shot before.
Yeah, and they're in a different house.
Yeah.
They're in a different house than the one with the 70s velvet. Yes.
I have to say my favorite part of this subplot is there's a point where Malvira is yelling at her minion and she slaps him. And his head goes the other way. because they cut away. She slaps him with her right hand, and his face turns this way, towards the slap, and it was brilliant.
Well, see, she hit him so hard that his head snapped back.
If you notice, the gun that she was always carrying, the silencer on it pointed downward at an angle.
I didn't notice that.
Yes, the silencer was pointed down.
Well, it was a little sad.
Well, I wouldn't, I mean, at one point I'm like, well, look at the gun, but it happens as you get older, I guess, but we can't help that.
One of the other things in this movie, for some reason, there were a lot of Corvettes.
Yeah.
But not Malvira's car. She's driving like
a Saturn.
Is okay? Yeah, it's an early Saturn. I think an SL3 or something
like that. Yeah.
And that's the only time she ever refers to the Minion as her driver.
Yeah.
Which like, look at my driver to bring the Saturn around, and it was an old Saturn. Yeah, it was an old Saturn then.
Yeah. Apparently, we've got less than 10 minutes. Suddenly, we're seriously, the time all ran away on this one. The music. I want to talk about the music for a minute.
Okay.
If you listen to it, it's like a pretty heavy guitar-based music.
Yeah. I
looked up the artists. They're called Bent Men. One word, Bent Men.
I saw that word in the credits.
Yes. Yeah. I went and looked them up. They on Spotify and Amazon, they have 2 albums. One's called their 3rd studio album. There's no other records mentioned anywhere. Then there's a live one recorded at a place called the Ballroom or something in Baltimore. And they were trying to be both Noir and The Residents with this shock rock costume stuff, because I watched some of their live videos, and honestly, I kind of liked the music. I really did.
It wasn't bad. Yeah, I liked it. The Residents. That would be the.
But I thought, well, but my God, they've got a real band in this one. It had actually recordings, and. In fact, they proudly on the Bitman page, they proudly post that they did the soundtrack to this movie.
I gotta say, I'm like sitting on the couch trying to stay awake in the last 10 minutes of this movie.
Yes.
And I had to start it over probably 6 times just to watch that, like, because I'm like, oh, I totally missed a minute of this. And then I'd watch it, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't need to go back and see that.
No, you didn't. No.
And and then finally the credits start, and the credits run a good 5 minutes of this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
If you can read them, because they use this weird glowing green out of focus font.
Yeah,
and it's pretty hard to see.
Yeah,
but. That was the credits were more enjoyable than the previous 10 minutes of that movie. Because you see all these names, and it's like, oh shit, these are like famous people in
B-movie land.
In B-movie land, exactly. I mean, Tura Satana and Brink Stevens, who played Cindy Natal, she was the reporter. I mean, Brink Stevens has been in a crap load of B movies, especially in the 80s.
Yeah,
and early
of course,
90s.
And Tura Satana was in Faster Pussycat Kill Kill.
Yep,
which I thought was terrific.
And I think hosted some horror movie shows.
Yeah,
she did.
Out west, and
yeah.
So did you catch what city they were actually shooting this in?
No,
it was Las Vegas.
Well,
I couldn't. I mean, I kept seeing, because I saw palm trees, so I was thinking, well, maybe this is Los Angeles, and then I thought it could be Miami, but no, it was it. There's your bubbles are showing up again, Tom.
I don't know where it's coming from. Just a thumbs up bubble.
I should explain to the we do these on Zoom, and for some last week. Tom started getting these thumbs up bubbles literally every few seconds, and was convinced it was some massive plot. But I swear to God, we have
The
Calvin
government's
and I,
watching this.
if Calvin and I knew how to do it, we would be doing it, but we
Yes.
didn't know how to do it. So
I want to do a couple of honorable mentions here.
okay.
First off, the minion,
Zorka or something like that.
Zorka, whatever his name was, I thought he was probably the best actor in
Most
the entire
enjoyable person to watch in the movie,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
And second, when they started killing all of the robot zombies, the third one that died in that montage, he was by the curb of the road somewhere, and he kind of twitched and then
Yes.
blew up. Most animated action in the entire film right there.
There was a beheading on the highway.
Yes.
And I think it is the road that comes to Vegas from Los Angeles. And a guy's riding on a motorcycle. And for some reason, one of the lizard people is out there, or no, not the lizard people. It was one of the guys that's so most of the murders are committed by these guys who are wearing these like black Wrangler jeans and black sweatshirts with these weird sort of skull mask on. And he machetes this dude's head off while he's riding down the road. And apparently only him. And then he,
and the guy, I mean, there was no place for that zombie to be hiding. He was standing on the road with a machete, and the guy on the bike just rides right by him.
Yeah.
Within inches before.
I do have an honorable mention also. So there's a subplot about FBI agents trying to chase down these folks. It goes absolutely nowhere. But at some point they're in the FBI office, which I've been to an FBI office. They look better than that. Okay. This was like a very small independent insurance office.
In a strip mall.
In a strip mall. And anyway, while they were in there, one of the FBI agents says, my favorite quote of the movie, "Great, just what we need, more terrorists."
Yeah.
I
got
was
that
like,
line.
that's the quote. Right
So
there.
we are about out of time. We would like to thank you all for listening to us one more time.
We have left out so many things we could still talk
yes,
about.
like the props in the background. And
yes, and the aliens who came to save us.
Some of those props were amazing. I got to say, I mean,
one of them was the cover of a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cover of a fan.
I saw an oil pan somewhere.
Attached to props. We could do a part 2 about props alone.
Yeah. That's right. There was so much valuable information. We have to have a part 2. So join us for the next episode of the Turkish Diplomats present Charming Noise. Yep.